Over the past couple of months, I've become utterly obsessed with creating customised accessories for my favourite game, Arkham Horror, the living card game. I've been making player boards, custom resource tokens and trackers, scenario and doom trackers, player cards, chaos bags, deck boxes, token boxes that stack together, more tokens for the token boxes, directional arrows, and of course, a table that folds up so that I don't get divorced from my wife. Welcome to Tabletop Upgrades, where every week I share projects and products that help your favourite games look better, play better and set up quicker. And in this video I want to share with you my obsession with creating customised accessories for Arkham Horror, the living card game. Now if there's one thing that I've enjoyed even more than playing the game itself, it's been creating my own customised components for them. And some of those have been selling in a Etsy shop and they've been going down quite well. I've sold about 120 items in the last couple of months. So here's a bit of a preview of some of the things that have worked, some of the things that haven't worked, and a little bit of an overview of my process. But before we get into the components, a lot of people will have questions about this gaming table. Now this is actually a project that I completed on the channel about a year ago, where I took a second-hand, really cheap dining room table from a thrift store or charity shop as you call them in the UK, and with some inexpensive components from a DIY superstore, a few basic skills and some hand tools, made this casino feel fabric topped, hidden away gaming table. It's worked really well and I use it pretty much every day of the week. It originally had a removable top which is super heavy, really inconvenient, and I play solitaire most of the time anyway. So I put these hinges on the back and there's a bit of a safety device, a basic safety device to stop it falling down in play. So video link up at the top if you find that kind of thing interesting. Now on to the components. Before we get to the tokens, I just wanted to start with this, the altar, which is a card stand for act, agenda and scenario cards. So it's 3 pieces. It sort of looks like a tombstone or arcane altar, and basically it's got spaces for the doom to track all the way along. The pieces are angled so that they sit back slightly so they can be seen from all angles, and it makes a really nice centerpiece for the game. So next, onto the tokens. So the first product we're going to look at is a way of managing all the tokens on a card. Now, if you're familiar with the game, this is not an uncommon sight. You'll have a bunch of sanity tokens and health tokens, and you may have gathered some clues. And before long, your card is absolutely full. Now, some people like this, and that's cool. There's beautiful tokens available that you can buy from third parties. I'm currently working on some. But that actually really annoys me. It looks messy, it covers up the card art, and things are easily knocked, and it's difficult at a glance to keep track of things. So I started working on what I thought would be like a cool magnetic tracker. So this was sort of a failed project basically. So I laser engraved some acrylic, and my first go at infilling it, and I use these little magnetic trackers. And this sort of evolved. I wasn't happy with that. It doesn't look great. It evolved into a slightly improved version. And you can tell that my infilling technique improved quite a lot. And it uses some profiled galvanized steel. Now this is quite difficult to get hold of. It's custom made, and obviously with the effects of a lockdown at the moment, it's even trickier. It also requires a lot of secondary processing, so you can see where it's been laser cut on an industrial trump laser. It's left sort of the molten slag edge, and that's going to need some amount of sanding. Also, galvanized steel is notoriously difficult to glue to, so I had some real trouble attaching this to it. And the more I played Arkham Horror, I found out that it's actually quite possible that you're going to gain a lot more than 10 resources or multiple clues. And even though it is really tactile, I love it. I don't particularly like the look of it. It looks a bit amateurish, and also I think that it's going to be difficult to manufacture in any kind of bulk. There's going to be secondary processing, and it's going to be difficult to stick together. So I moved on to something that I'm really quite happy with, which is this. It's a card tracker that uses dice. So this is my first sort of play with using this ivory laser and laser laminate engraving material. Now, that is not recessed. That's sort of a negative. You can actually feel the texture. This is engraved from underneath and paint infilled, so the finish is absolutely beautiful. The player card sits in top, and obviously there's a little hole underneath where you can sort of ease it out. And these are something that I'm waiting for my new laser system to arrive before I make these in any quantity, but there's a really satisfying feel to indexing the dice round. They're a lovely fit, and then that works just great. And yeah, at times you may well get more than 12 resources, particularly in a skids deck. But if that's the case, you can just use an additional dice to top it up. Clues attract through this little dice holder here, and that is something that I played through the entire Path of Carcosa with, and I absolutely adored this. I think it looks cool. It fits in the aesthetic of sort of the 1920s, almost got a Ouija board feel. I absolutely love that. So that naturally moved on to the actual cards within your deck. So as you know, the traditional way to do this is just throw on lots of cardboard chits, little resource tokens, to track how much they're being used. Now, it looks homogeneous, it sort of takes away from the amazing theme of the game, and it's fiddly in my opinion. So I started playing around with different options. One of the first things I did for first aid was I tried 3D printing a little first aid kit, and I had an idea where I'd be 3D printing tokens for each one. Now, as nice as that is, it's not really the aesthetic that I'm going for. I quite like the 1920s Ouija board type feel, and particularly this sunburst pattern. So stepped it up a notch, and rather than have a cardboard chit, I had a laser engraved using that laminate, a custom liquid courage token. There's a little whiskey in a glass. It looks far better, but in essence it's still going to be fiddly. You have to stack them up, you need multiple tokens. So moved it on a notch and basically just used the same principle again. So for a flashlight, we've got a flashlight tracker, we've got a pentagram, a whiskey, we've got a bullet, and it looks great. From a distance you can see how many charges you've got, and it's got this brilliant tactile feel of just being able to tick the dice down one as you use it. And I've done all kinds of different ones, secret tokens, sanity, generic resources. The list can go on and on. I haven't actually brought these to my Etsy shop yet because basically I need to upgrade my laser system, which is happening very soon, so I can achieve the repeatability that I want on these. But I'm really happy with how they've turned out, and I'd love to hear your feedback. What do you think of these, and any other ideas? I'm thinking smoking pipe would be a cool one. There's a little sanity tracker for when you've got allies. So on to the next one. And again, in the same vein, tracking health on one of these guys requires adding extra tokens. You move them around, they can get lost, especially when you've got lots of enemies in play. So I've used the same principle again, and we've just got a little heart health tracker, and we can say he's got 2 health. That's actually, again, matches the theme that I'm going for, and has been a really convenient way of tracking health, and it just moves around a lot easier than multiple tokens in my opinion. But I've really enjoyed playing through my last campaign using these little health trackers. Next, and I'll take a little break from the tokens and show you a custom chaos bag that I've had embroidered. So this is a Necronomicon symbol, and it's an organic cotton bag, little drawstring bag. It's really comfortable to fit your hand in there, and has been a lovely thematic addition to the game. Back to custom tokens. When you've got multiple locations in play, here's 2 non-connecting ones. Should have perhaps chosen better ones. You can link them up with directional arrows, and they've been going really well and been a real useful game addition. Now, again, it's that laminate that I've been using, but I've infilled it with a beautiful sort of metallic gold paint in an Art Deco style. It's got a burgundy backing. It's quite weighty, it feels nice, and it looks, I think, really in keeping with the theme of the game. So last but not least are some player card stands. So these are nice and weighty. It's all 3mm acrylic, and it's basically allows you to move your player card around without it taking up too much space. So obviously it's upright and not flat. And then when you finish your activation, you can just spin it round to show that your turn is over. And they're assembled without glue. They've just got this little collar on, which allows you just to split open the two uprights, put that back on. No glue is required. You can glue it if you want, but it flat packs down, and they are player cards. And I'll be, again, putting those in the Etsy shop as soon as I've received my upgraded laser system, which will hopefully be around early September. And what do you do once you've got all these tokens? Well, you need a token box to put them in. This is sort of a work in progress. I'm pretty happy with the design, but it definitely needs to be improved a little bit further. I'm thinking of having a little magnetic catch on there. But they are intended to stack with a range of card boxes, which again I thought was finalised until I saw these amazing dividers from another seller on Etsy. Quite how he's managed to get past the copyright of just using all the FFG symbols, but they look great anyway. However, they are very long, and my design of card drawer doesn't allow it to have a lid on with these longer dividers in, so I'm going to redesign it so that these fantastic card dividers can be used, and the whole thing will nest together. And the idea is you just buy multiple boxes, they all fit with each other, and you can get your whole collection inside a nice little cube. If you enjoyed this video, then I'm going to be producing a lot more Arkham Horror the Living card game content, and there's a link up here with the playlist that you want to check out right now. Now, if you want to get your hands on some of these products, then please click on the Etsy link in my description, and also I've got a mailing list where occasionally I do giveaways, and you can get some sneak previews of what's coming up soon. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.